Aloha everyone. This is August 10th, 2016. And I wish to share with you something I've been receiving for the last few nights. So I'm just going to open the scroll and start in with it because I don't have all the information at this time by any means. Maybe I never will. But what I do have, as it comes along, I will share with you. Thoth is giving it a name for me because it has to have a name so we can call it something. So it's the OSIR'I corpus. It's OSIR apostrophe I corpus, like body, CORPUS. This is a light program that is being initiated and carried out by the guardians. I'm going to call them this for now, the guardians of the Isle of the Mother Sun, or the Mother Sun Island. Now, previously I've spoken and written about that as being a sort of slightly off dimension island or dimensional space that is forming on the planet, which will be completed sometime between August 13th and the 20th. I'm thinking closer to the 13th. When I say completed, I mean the basic format for it. And it's like a place, you get there, it's like Avalon. And yet, can you physically get there? Well, I'm not sure about that, but I know that you can etherically, astrally, remote viewing, you name it. There are various ways to get places. So, and this place, is being guardianed by beings that have come through the more recent star streams connections that were made with the Mother Universe. And these beings hail from various systems, but they are related and related to us. They are our kindred in one layer or another on the family tree, the cosmic family tree. So what I'm calling the guardians of the Mother Isle, or the guardians of the, let's get it right here, the guardians of the Island of the Sun. No, let me try that again. We're going to call it the guardians of the Mother Sun Isle. The guardians of the Mother Sun Isle. That's not too many words. At least that's what we'll call them for now. We've got to get another name for them so I can say it easier. Anyway, these guardians are bringing into effect a program of paragenetics that is raising the DNA template that we are experiencing on the planet to a deeper level. I should say it's expanding it to a deeper level. And it is creating a race of us that will be able to place into embryos in the human body. Now, before you freak out, this is not, like the Greys and stuff grabbing people in the night and, doing things to them. This is a paragenetic program. It is something that every soul on the planet that will experience this has agreed to. And it is not traumatic. It is not something that you're going to be screaming in the night about. You probably won't even know it happens. And it is introducing this energy into all the frequencies of the DNA. But those who are childbearing age and will be having children, naturally having children, not by some, suddenly becoming immaculately impregnated and wondering where the father is, not that kind of a thing. Naturally impregnated women will receive, some of them that have agreed on a higher level or a conscious level included, and are right hosts for various reasons, will receive this paragenetic, let us call it an embryo, that will be merged with the natural embryo. And it's nothing weird. It's a perfectly beautiful experience, kind of like, Mary having Jesus, only there will be a father because we have two parents here involved, two human parents, and yet this is introduced. And this introduction will come from other parental hosts of other dimensions, possibly just one male. I don't know that a female is involved. It might be. You see, I'm just learning this, okay? So I'm going to say might be for this time. Now, this has been happening on the planet previously, but not on this level at all. This is a new level. This is opening it up to the mother flow, the mother's milk, a higher platform of genetic experience. And these embryo will be brought through, will be nurtured and brought to a certain gestation, you guessed it, on the aisle of the mother's son. And from there, the physical mother will have an experience where she comes to the aisle and receives the embryo. And this can occur and probably will occur in most instances before she is pregnant, knowing that she will be pregnant. But she doesn't get pregnant from this embryo, this light embryo, or whatever you want to call it. She doesn't get pregnant from that. She gets pregnant naturally. But these beings will know that she's going to be pregnant, and they will bring this embryo into her experience, this light embryo, previous to that. That's usually the way it's going to be done. However, in some cases, it will be done after the physical embryo is in a very, very first stage of being. So both ways can happen. So when I was preparing to do this morning, first I had some emails to answer. So I went into my emails, and one of them I wanted to respond by searching for a particular thing that I had written that I wanted to share, just a link to that, whatever, about this particular subject. So I recognized that what I wanted to share was out of an old issue of Temple Doors, but I happened to remember that maybe a year ago I put it into, I reposted it on Osiris Rising on WordPress. And I was thinking, what is the name of that article? And, I did some searching, and I found it. Well, as I was scrolling down the article to find this particular that I wanted to put in there, this little paragraph, I found something else, too. And this something else related directly to what I'm talking to you about today. Now, I had no idea that I'd written anything approximating it before on this level. Nothing. Now, what are the odds when you consider that I have written all the material I have written in now 50 years, really 50 years of writing, that I would accidentally find this particular paragraph when I was looking for something entirely different? I just have to share that because it still blows me away. I mean, I know it happens. I know I'm guided that way. We all are. But when it happens, I just have to share it because it's such a thrill. Anyway, so let's go to it. And so here it is. It's on the Osiris Rising WordPress, and it's Vault of Osiris and the 30 Spirit Tribes, which is something I had previously written in, let me see what issue, 1996, a 1996 issue. So here we go. Thoth. Light embryos were received from Orion into the temple vault, that means the Vault of Osiris, upon specialized, well, I'm not sure that that's the Vault of Osiris. It might be the vault. He might be specifying the vault in the king's chamber. Let's take this. No, he does say Vault of Osiris. Okay, so I'm corrected here. light embryos were received from Orion into the temple vault, that's the vault of Osiris, upon specialized beams of light, in order to seed the Earth's vine in a most sacred way, well beyond the current concepts of genetic manipulation. Also, through its crystalline matrix, the temple vault created a logia field, which allowed direct transport of soul and body into the consciousness planes of the greater stars, the realms of the living lights, the stellar angelic habitations. From the vault of Osiris in Orion to its shadow vault in the temple of the Risen One, Great Pyramid, the stellar configurations of endogenetic coding were recapitulated into the matter bodies of those ancients who sought to regain the lost kingdom within the cells. This was a sacred ceremony enacted in the shadow vault of Osiris, that means the physical one, that we're talking about beneath the Great Pyramid, eons ago, in which the astral body of a priestess would carry Osiris's heart through the passage of the pyramid into the greater vault of heaven, so that it may be filled as a grail cup with the current light programs of the age. In actuality, this ritual allowed a feminine charge to touch the fallen and trapped light seed in the earth and quicken it into receipt of these current light codes, so that like Osiris, the slain body, I'm not sure where that went. Apparently it went somewhere, but I'm not reading it here. Okay, out of the star endogenetics in the earth, in the heavenly vault of Osiris, are formed the body parts of Adam Kadmon, of which Osiris represents an evolutionary aspect. These body parts are integrated into the genetics of the human race through 38 strands of recursive stellar information within the human etheric genetic or paragenetics. These strands are the stralium. The 30 of these strands, or stralium, have nested in the descended earth through the 30 spirit tribes. The remaining 8 strands compose the stellar configurations of soul frequency bandwidths involved in the higher evolution of this planet, which continue to exist in advanced DNA templates of the Adam Kadmon. Such beings as Thoth are from these templates. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's it on that side of the fence. Well, I decided to look up endogenetic because that's a word that was given me. And apparently I didn't look it up. Well, I didn't look it up when I wrote it because they didn't have Google. And, now I hadn't read it till just now, since I wrote it in 1996. So I'm looking it up. And it's a real word here. I mean a real word there. And it says arising from or relating to the interior of the earth. Now that's interesting. Okay, so let's go a little further. If we go to the word endogenous, which should be derived from endogenetic, because I first clicked endogenetic on another site, and it took me to endogenous. Endogenous. An example of something endogenous is a tumor that is caused by conditions inside the body, not externally introduced conditions such as smoking. Something caused by something inside the body. Well, I don't want to take too long on this, but we can see where this is going. So we would assume here that, let me go back to that page. I want to read how it was stated again so we can really get a picture of it, because I think it is important. And so, why am I not seeing it? And so it says, from the vault of Osiris and Orion, meaning the stellar vault, to its shadow vault in the temple of the Risen One, Great Pyramid, the stellar configurations of endogenetic coding were recapitulated into the matter bodies of those ancients who sought to regain the lost kingdom within the cells. So this is something that's contained deeply within. So we could assume then, And indeed, let's more than assume. I'm going to really connect to it, and I'm seeing how this relates from the Thoth intelligence, that the endogenetic, in this sense, the endogenetic coding is the interior codes of the DNA. They're interior. They're not the codes that we see working for us now. They're somehow inside that, like in the hollow earth. You have, let's say, we have a code, if we can call it a sphere. Let's just do that for the heck of it. And inside the sphere, you have a hollowness. In the hollowness, you have the other code, the endogenetic code. So it's a code inside a code. That is what I'm receiving now when I ask about it, relative to what I just read about the definition on Google. And so, the process that I just read to you is different from the process that will be ongoing on the Isle of the Mother Sun, but not a whole lot different, because it incorporates the basic procedure of bringing this embryo down and transferring it into a physically living human. That is the same, and it requires this endogenetic coding to be opened up, to be worked with. The difference is, it's not there's more to it that I read there about the priestess carrying the heart of Osiris into the sky and all of that. That's a whole other sort of part of the process that was not germane to receiving the embryo in the being. It was more keeping that portal open and taking information from the planet into the stars. That's a whole other topic. It's kind of interesting, but we won't go there right now. But the part that relates is that these embryo will be formed inside structures, or maybe a structure, on the Isle of the Sun. Not a structure built by tools or anything like that. A structure that is, I imagine, manifested through mental acuity. And inside that structure, these embryo will be brought into fruition. Now, when you consider that there must be, well, at least thousands of them. I haven't gotten a figure on this. I started to say millions, but I think this particular part of the program, because there's more to it, deals with thousands and not millions, because from there it can go further in other ways. So let's just take this and say that it's thousands. But even so, when you're dealing with that kind of a dimensional reality, you don't require linear space, like, oh gosh, we've got thousands of embryos to work with here. We got to have a lot of space to do this, a lot of buildings. No, this is not, something that's necessary, because it's operating on another platform of experience. Nevertheless, I am seeing more than one structure. So there are various structures determining various frequencies. Oh, I'm seeing, okay, there's one large pyramid. This is where this takes place. But I'm also seeing these stone obelisks, but they don't, I'm not sure if they have a pyramid point or not. I'm not seeing that clearly right at this moment. But they're long. They're like, what do I want to say? Well, I guess obelisks, except they don't have that point on them. They don't seem to. And they're of different heights all over the island or in this area of the pyramid. And they are tonal objects. When they are struck by a vibration, this vibration coming from various realms, some stellar, some the human hosts of the children, some of the vibrations coming from the embryo as it's forming, There are various things. But as they tone, they quantumize the whole frequency of that creation. And it is brought into some kind of parity with the living planet and the human hosts that are experiencing it and working with it. I think there's more to it than that, but that's what I'm receiving at this point. Sound is very much a part of all of this. Frequency, tones. And these beings that are guardians and actually facilitators of the process. Let me look at them a little more carefully here. So out of the whole package of beings that have come through the star streaming and will be coming to help us, the new bunch, we can call them, I'm going to ask for a name just to qualify those who are guardians of the Isle of the Mother Sun. Okay, I'm receiving Zytel. That is X-I, that's the Xi part, T-E-L, Zytel. And then there's another name. There's two. In other words, it's a two-part name. Zytel Ichi, I-C-H-I. Sounds very Mayan or Aztec or something, but this is what is given me. Zytel Ichi. So it's Z-I-T-E-L and then I-C-H-I-I. Zytel Ichi. Like I'm going to remember that, right? Well, anyway, that's the name I received. He's saying that actually it's a Lemurian, a late Lemurian words or names, and they were brought through and propagated again with the High Mayans from the Sirius, who connected with the Mu people, and he calls them the High Mayans because later they came down and, facilitated certain things with the Mayan people. All these words get in the way, but anyway, those beings, and those particular beings were working with guardianing certain genetic families. And that was their title. That wasn't the race that they were or anything. That was just the title of what they were when they did that. So he's giving the title again because he said it's all related and part of the same function. It's just a different level of it that we're in now. And it's a very unique and special level. But as I said, this has been going on before on the planet in various ways. But this, to have a whole designated special, slightly off-dimension island for it, and the level of that it's working with of the genetic encodings and how it's directly working with these humans on the planet at this time. See, like in the Mayan days, it was just Mayan priestesses, those initiated, special. Now, when they get going here, it's going to be you and me people, out there. And yes, they will be selected for certain qualities, but they're not going to be initiates, necessarily. Some of them may be. So this is going out to the mass populace. But remember, everyone that is chosen for this has chosen themselves, for one thing. And out of that ones that have chosen themselves are the ones they have selected specifically for this time, place, purpose, experience, energy that's coming through, all these various aspects. And I'm being asked to tell you that, or to say to you that, well, it's obvious that this is like night and day to the programs of the Nephilim ones who are, grabbing people in the night and doing their experimentations. There are channels that try to make this sound like it's okay, it's fine, it's wonderful. It's just a little scary, but nothing to worry about. However, I disagree. I disagree because my total intelligence disagrees. Otherwise, I'd agree. But I don't, because I don't see it that way from the perspective that I'm shown. I like seeing, what I say I would otherwise agree is because I like it that, seeing things that appear to be negative that might really not be so negative. And we need to look at things from different angles to understand the bigger picture, because that's true in many cases. In this case, well, it's true in a way because even though we're having some kind of interference going on, it's helping us to define our spiritual qualities and what we want and we don't want, like the rigged elections. So we don't want to be carried off in the middle of the night and, taking our sperm and embryo and eggs taken without our permission. And no, we have not given our permission in advance. If we had, we wouldn't be screaming and carrying on and being terrified of it. Some people are not, but they're just a little more prepared for it, perhaps. Or maybe they have given some agreement. I don't know. But most people have not. And the program that they're operating on is a much lesser vibrational program. And it has to do, as I've said before, with trying to capture the imstra molecule of the human DNA. And I don't even know if if the molecule is in the DNA. I guess it is. I haven't really checked on that. But whatever it is, they want it. And they're trying to get it that way, and that's not the way to get it, okay? You get it through higher spiritual elevation, through your spiritual integrity, and not through DNA slicing and dicing in embryos and stuff. What is going on with the ultras in this program, the OSIR'I corpus, has nothing to do with anything like that. All they are doing is bringing to us what is ours already. The light engendered beings that we are from higher levels of experience, and superlating, that's the word I'm given, them into the current timeline human experience. This gives us the path to totally receive our light bodies and work in the pure gem beingness that we are. It's just another phase of that program. And we're all working together in it. We're not subjects or guinea pigs or cooperative slaves. We are part of the program. We are the light beings that are saying, thank you for bringing us back these parts that we've missed for so long, and now we can integrate them fully and open to who we truly are. So that's the big difference. They're not trying to help us create some kind of new form of being that is not ever been in our experience. It will be new, but it will be new in an advanced stage of who we already are. And it's not manipulation. It is ascendancy. I asked for a word, and that's what I received. Kind of speaks for itself, I think. I'm fairly sure there'll be more on this topic coming through. And we shall see where it leads. But for now, because I don't want these videos to be just like super, super long, I'm going to conclude for today. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not. Because there was something that I felt guided to include at the very end. So let me do that. Remember, I said that this was for all of us, not just the to-be pregnant or pregnant women. It's even for old folks like me. And in that regard, it is allowing us, the non-childbearing ones, to experience and to work with the qualities of this embryonic light that are flowing through into the chamber, the birthing, not the birthing, but the gestation chamber of the Isle of the Mother Sun. In this manner, so we can begin bearing and birthing children on higher levels of experience. Now, this has happened before. The difference is now it can happen on a much more, what I want to say, coherent level with humanity, not just the odd person out doing this. And it will be done under a very direct program of light. And it will be done in a manner that directly aids the entire Earth human experience, rather than a person having the ability to do this and to seed and help the planet in a certain way, but it's like off in the, it's off in the corner. It hasn't been center stage. This is coming center stage now. And I'm showing my avatar here because she's opening up as the flower to receive these divine codes. It is for each one of us, and this has to do with females here, but I'm going to talk about the males in a moment. So the females to ask for this type of experience, if they wish to continue it to that point. You can see there's two parts of it. You can just receive, you're naturally going to receive the light effulgence of this. All humanity is, men and women. Women can carry it through to a form of pregnancy and birth on the etheric level, even if they're non-childbearing in the physical level. Or they cannot. That is more of a conscious choice, or semi-conscious choice in some cases. So you see there are a lot of components to this. But in any case, all of us, men and women, have the opportunity to come and be blessed by the energies, the experience on the Isle of the Mother Sun. Whether it has to do with the directly has to do with the OSIR'I corpus, or it has to do with the Elixis Mundi. That's the project, the light program of working with the portals and setting the areopaxes in order. Well, these portal passages have a link to the Isle of the Sun because it's almost like, that's one portal that can be opened there through the Elixis Mundi in various ways. We haven't gotten into that yet. That's kind of like in advance I'm mentioning that. But there's so much that connects to the Isle of the Mother Sun that I don't, I'm overwhelmed by it, and I don't even begin to know all of it. And I hopefully will know more as we go along here. But I do encourage men as well as women to connect to this flow, because the consciousness of the conscious male, of the aware male, of the male that Thoth is calling, what is he calling them now? I can't remember now, but like Grail Knights, they are incorporating their feminine beingness in a very high way, balancing it with the masculine. And this includes both heterosexual men and homosexual males, all males. They can work with this process of simply receiving, diving into the deepness of the elixir of running from the whole process of the OSIR'I corpus. And in doing so, they help the flow on the genetic level all the way around, just as the females do. And if they are having children after that point, they're going to have more enlightened children. Not children with this embryo experience. That comes through, has to be placed into the female, that particular embryo. That's a different thing that's going on there. But the male sperm can be enlightened with this frequency. And I hear myself saying all of this, and I'm just giving you little patches of all of this. Because first of all, I don't know anymore at this moment in time. And also it's very hard, even what I do know, it's very hard to explain it. You know, we're dealing with things that are beyond time and frequency. Perhaps I could do better if I wrote it all up, but this is a long treatise here that I'm speaking to you to write up. I can write smaller things, but I'm still dealing with nerve pain, although it's much better. And to sit and write all and write and write and write, like, 6 pages worth, it's just too much. So it's better for me to talk it out with you. And when I'm dealing with this kind of thing that's rolling through me, that's, collecting data as we go along, I'm literally forming it while I'm speaking it to you. So it has a purpose. I think it gives it a little more depth in that way, even though I'm kind of stuttering and whatever, and I'd be writing it far more professionally. I believe that giving it to some of these things that I choose to put in this way, not only does it help me with my nerve problem, but it allows you to experience the energy as I open the scroll on this and bring it through in this way. So I hope this all works for you and you've received something beneficial from it. And so now I am going to close with a wonderful aloha to you all, sending you lots of light and island breezes, island of the sun breezes, because Kauai is also an island of the sun. Well, mostly. Aloha to all.